It is currently June 29th, and today we are out in the garden for our June garden tour. I was worried that I wouldn't actually get to finish this in June, and I'm so glad that I was able to. I have 2 days left to edit this and post this, so it will be coming out before the end of June. But I am really excited to do this tour this month because our garden has grown so much. We have had a lot of rain, but we've also had some really hot temperatures, and the mix of that just makes our plants skyrocket. And we have had many beautiful harvests that I have been very happy about. So this bed behind me is a big bed for us. This is probably one of my most favorite beds in the garden. This is our tomato pepper bed. As you can see, we also have some chamomile on the side, some marigold, some flowered herbs, and I don't know if you can see it, but we've actually got a quite a large sunflower on the corner here. Here in what feels like a very narrow alleyway, I have our big trellis of tomatoes. Now this first one is a giant Belgian tomato. Here is a vintage wine. I've got a couple of pineapple tomatoes and then another vintage wine tomato on the end. And we have been kind of struggling with tomatoes this year. We have gotten harvest, but a lot of our tomatoes are rotting. And I believe that it is due to stink bugs. We've seen a lot of little stink bugs around. And I think what they do is pierce the fruit and suck the juice out. But it causes the fruit to rot in that area. And because of that, we've gotten more rotten fruit than we have ripe fruit. And so we've been really trying to deal with that. There's not a lot on the internet to take them down organically, so to speak. You can hand pick them off. We are definitely going to try and keep it more weeded. I will do a lot of pruning here pretty soon. But other than that, there's not much we can do than just hand picking them off. So I will be coming out here probably every day and seeing if I can't hand pick some of these little buggers off because it's hard for us to get any tomatoes. And on the other side of this bed, we have all of our peppers. And then here we have an eggplant. This is literally called an Aswad eggplant. Thought that was a funny name. And we have so many different types of peppers. This is a corbachi. And then we have about 5 of these stuffing peppers. They're called Bangdua specta, I think. They have a really difficult name for me to pronounce. I believe it's French. But they are a really great stuffing pepper. In the back, we have 5 of our super nacho jalapenos. They are just like normal jalapenos, except they produce like crazy. So it's great for preserving, and we hope this year to make pepper jelly and our own hot sauce and pepper powder as well. In the back, we've got some of my boyfriend's super hot peppers, which I will not be touching or eating probably, but I still water and take care of because they are cool peppers. But we've got some Hallows Eve back there, a Carolina Reaper. I believe we have a Mad Hatter pepper, which I don't know if that's as hot as the other ones, but they are definitely cool peppers to be growing. On this side of our trellis, we have our Roma tomatoes. These are our paste tomatoes. I'm hoping that we will be able to make some sauce out of them this year. And if you look, they've been also falling off the plant. However, I think this is because the deer came through last night and ate a bunch of our plants. You can see maybe over there, maybe I'll have to show you later. Our cucumbers are eaten and our beans are also eaten. We will save this. I doubt it will ripen. It is still very green, but they make great fried green tomatoes, so that will be for lunch. Towards the back of this trellis, we have our butternut squash with my sworn enemy all over it. However, they are large enough that I'm not extremely worried that they're going to be taken down. I will still come through and kill all these, and look for eggs, because that is still very important. But I'm not super worried that these will not ripen. So I've got one butternut squash here. And then a second, a third, and there's a 4th one all the way down there. Now here in this middle bed, I have a sneaky little Filderkraut cabbage in there. And down here, we have some of our toothache flowers. Now, these are really cool because when you bite into them, they will completely numb out your mouth, which is why they're also called buzz buttons. On this other side, we have just a couple of different herbs, another Aswad eggplant, and another sweet bell pepper. So this is our cucumber trellis, and on the end, our bean trellis. Now, if it looks a little bare, that is because it is. Our deer have come through and eaten the leaves off of our cucumbers, which is strange because I have been told that they won't because cucumbers are spiky, their vines are spiky, and I have been told that deer don't like the texture of it. It hurts their mouth. Obviously, that was a lie. Or maybe not. Maybe my deer just have really tough mouths and the babies eat the beans. I don't know. But we have harvested a lot of cucumbers off of our plant, and obviously it's still mostly here. I'm not too upset about it, at least for our cucumbers. We've tried a lot of different things for deer, and not a lot of them will actually keep them out of the garden. Anyway, we have canned 10 pints of cucumbers this year. Little sidetrack from that. If you can pickles, please let me know how to get crunchy pickles. Please. I can do a quick pickle and get crunchy pickles, but anytime that I go to canned pickles, they have a great taste, but they're kind of soft. I even put some pickle crisp in the last batch that I made, and it made them crunchier, but they're still not as crunchy as I would like them to be. They're still kind of soft. So if you have any advice on that, please let me know, because I need crunchy pickles so bad. On the very end here, we have our long beans. Now, they are producing long beans, which I am very, very excited about. They look so cool hanging down from the trellis. However, the deer have eaten a lot of their leaves, and they actually did a little harvest for us yesterday. They ate the stems, but they left the beans, so we got to take about 4 beans that were just laying on the ground. Luckily, I guess they ate it closer to the morning, and so I was able to come out and harvest the beans that they had left. But it'll rebound. It will. And I just need to find a way to deter the deer in time for it to rebound. Now these next 2 beds I'm going to go over kind of quickly because they are in a transitional stage and they don't look the best. This bed, if you remember from our June garden tour, had a giant fielderkraut cabbage in the middle of it, and lots more strawberries, lots more lettuce. The lettuce has since bolted, and we have since harvested our fielderkraut cabbage. I will put a picture up. It was huge, and it was so cool. We've never grown a fielderkraut cabbage before, and it is definitely a plant that we are going to replant, I even think for the fall, and try and get a second harvest of it in. We ended up making a homemade kimchi with it, and it is so good. So good. I made it too spicy for myself. But it's really good in dishes when you have it with like rice and some sort of chicken. It's so, so good. Now in the back here, we still have everything that you have seen before. So here I have our thornless blackberries. They were also eaten because they're thornless. There's a pattern. Our blueberry, which has stopped producing for the season. Grapes that have grown up, and then the one that I'm most excited about is there's raspberries in the middle that have grown up. They're now producing raspberries on the bottom and raspberries on the very tippy top of our trellis. Why it doesn't grow in the middle area, I don't know. Maybe next year I'll try cutting it back and seeing if it'll regrow new stems, and maybe we'll get more fruit that way. But raspberries are new to me this year. I had never grown raspberries before this year, so it's very much so trial and error. And towards the end, I have grapes and blackberries once again, and I don't believe that they will produce this year, but I think next year they will, and that is what I'm excited for. We're playing the long game. So I'm going to go over this part just really quickly. This is my other transitional bed. I have planted some of our popcorn in here, but we also have a weed that looks really similar to our popcorn. This is a popcorn. This is a weed. I've been really scared to pull out any weeds because they could be popcorn. Here we just have some bolted parsley and a couple of unknown peppers. Growing up our trellis, we have some more butternut squash. This one has produced 2 smaller ones, and I've got to be careful because there are wheel bugs on here, and I'm hoping to keep them there. Wheel bugs actually eat squash bugs and squash bug eggs and literally any stage in life squash bug, and so I want them there so bad, but they do have a really aggressive sting, so staying away from them. And between here on this trellis, I have a mix of watermelon and cantaloupe. And none of them have started forming yet. I'm wondering if I'm going to have to hand pollinate these. Now this side of the trellis looks a little bit crazier than the other side. Here we have this giant yellow pear tomato. And these have been very prolific this year. There's even a couple ready now. They definitely need a pruning, but I don't plant a lot of cherry tomatoes because I don't like them that much, but these are so good. On this other part of the trellis, I do have some more cantaloupe, and I also have orange watermelon, and these are the orange watermelons. Also haven't started producing fruit yet. Looking towards the back, we have this giant Mexican sunflower that has not started flowering, but has created itself a lot of buds. And then coming down to our lower level, we have what I think is a lilac bell. And back here we've got some other peppers that I'm not quite sure of yet. And then this one is some sort of reaper, potentially a peach variety of some sort of reaper, but it looks hot. I'm very scared to eat it. Around this other side, we've got another variety of sweet pepper. I don't know which one quite yet. And then these are all carrots that we are waiting to get a little bit bigger and we'll pick probably within a month or so and then put a new crop of fall carrots in. Coming up a little bit is our flower bed. Our echinacea has gotten very large. I've tried to keep it pretty well pruned and it has done very well. I don't know what that is, but it looks terrifying. This is my yarrow. I try to deadhead it pretty often, and I think it just needs maybe some fertilizer. Some beautiful zinnias. And if you remember, this foxglove was never really super healthy, but it looks like it finally took to the ground a little bit and created some new roots. Back here is a giant Mongolian sunflower. Now you might remember there being a big hollyhock there. It drowned. We had so much rain that it literally drowned. So that is our new replacement. Normally I would set up a tripod for this part, but we are doing some construction for a new fence, and so I can't really get behind it, but this is our fig and carrot grow bag with more wheel bugs on it. It is growing well, and I think next year we will have some good fruit produced. So this is my boyfriend's super hot pepper bed, and in here you can see a huge difference from May to June. These plants have skyrocketed. These plants love the heat, and they just were not growing until we got temperatures up in the high 80s and 90s, and we are there. Trust, it is hot all the time. But these plants have grown so much. Some of them have started to produce, some of them not quite yet. Super hots do generally take a longer time from seed to harvest than just hot peppers or sweet peppers, and so we are not too worried about them. There are some very small peppers here on our plants, and we honestly don't know what every plant is quite yet. We did put labels in the spring when we planted them, but they have since washed away. The stick is there. There's just no writing on the stick, which is unfortunate, but luckily we kind of know what everything is that we're growing. We know that one over here is a Res Ha Macedonian, and that's about it until we get towards the end. Here we are towards the end, and this is a giant chiltepine bush that we actually overwintered last year, and it has come back Just so lush and so prolific. If you have heard of the chiltepine plant and how to grow them, then you know that these take for freaking ever from seed to harvest. Last year we weren't getting fruit on the plant until August, and now we have a lot of fruit. None of them have started to turn yet, but we definitely have a lot of it. We have some sweet peppers, and coming down, this is another plant that we overwintered. This is a puma pepper. It was struggling a little bit at first, but it's now very bushy and producing lots of fruit. These get to be between 300 and 500 Scoville units, and they get to be very pretty as well. Here I've just got a couple grow bags. This is a giant mammoth flower, a zucchini, and these are Thai hot peppers. I have my big ponderosa lemon in a pot. You can see these fruit are finally getting to be pretty big. This plant set this fruit back in, I believe, like December or January, and it's been a long time coming. Back here we have our banana that is, I think, doing well. It kind of grows slow. Our rescue lime, which is finally looking a lot better, and our Meyer lemon. So here is one of my favorite spots in the garden, and this is our wildflower patch. Now here I have several different types of flowers. I have coreopsis, bachelor's button, tons and tons of cosmos. I have some hollyhock spread within here, and there's also a Mexican sunflower that sits in the back. A majority of this was just a wildflower seed packet that I had planted down, and then I had also taken some cosmos and just spread the seeds out, and it's turned into a beautiful patch. A lot of these are perennials, and so they will come back next year for another beautiful wildflower patch. I will have to replant our cosmos, although they self-seed pretty well. I've had plenty of volunteer cosmos this year, and so I'm secretly hoping that they will come back this next year. Heading over to this side bed, this definitely looks a lot different than when you saw it back in May. When I did the last garden tour back in May, this bed was full of garlic. Now we have harvested that garlic out. I do have a video here on this channel of me harvesting the garlic. We had a great harvest this year. I was so happy with it. But I have since put a heavy hitter okra and some squash, some pumpkins in its place. And those are growing up for a nice succession of hopefully a lot of pickled okra and some pie pumpkins. Now here I do have our two other okra plants. These are about to fruit. Okra does not grow until it gets really hot outside, and so this has just started to perk up over this month. And we have several flowers that are about to open. Here in the back we have a giant tomatillo bush. How it got to be so army and bushy, I don't know. The last one that I grew last year was not like that at all. But I am not complaining about it. It looks really cool. Here I have my lemongrass, which looks a lot like Johnson grass. It's really hard to tell the difference until you give it a smell, and it just smells like straight lemons. It's awesome. Then in the back, further back, I have 3 different types of peppers. I have a super nacho jalapeno, which is the same one that we had over in that past bed that is just like a normal jalapeno, but it produces a lot. Then we have a lilac bell pepper, which is just a nice sweet bell pepper. It looks really pretty. It turns purple. And then we also have a T-Rex yellow pepper. Those do get pretty hot, but I don't think that they are a super hot pepper. Also in the back of this bed, we have a giant marigold. And these are evil beetles. They're evil. Japanese beetles. But this is an eggplant, and it has started to produce eggplants, which I'm very excited about. In this grow bag, we have another tomatillo, and in this one, we have a dark galaxy tomato. Walking along to our circle bed, this is our corn bed. I was originally going to do a 3 Sisters style planting, but it just took me too long to get these in the ground, and I don't think that they would have a great window of time for everything to go from seed to harvest. I think that we would get a first frost before we get our 2nd and 3rd sisters. Here is our wonderful, wonderful flower bed. I love it so much. It looks like I need to deadhead it a little bit better, but this is our orange cosmos. Very, very pretty. And then these are probably my favorite flowers of the whole year so far. I can't believe I don't have one to show you that is completely bloomed out. But these are a pink variety of Cosmo, and they are so beautifully layered. And then that is a tall celosia. And in the very back there, we have a tiny lavender plant. Also, coming out of it is what I think is a volunteer loofah. And it has grown really far, but it hasn't produced any loofah yet. Now I'm only showing this to show that I make a lot of mistakes in gardening. These all were different types of sweet peppers. I'm not even going to show the ones over there. They're still flowering, poor things. These were mauled by deer. As you can tell, we have a big deer problem. And that is all I will be saying. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I really do enjoy making these. And I really enjoy just being able to walk through the garden and kind of check on everything, but also admire what has grown from a little tiny seed that I started back in January, February, or even March, to now in June when these plants are taller than I am and producing like crazy, and we're able to preserve food inside. That is just such a fantastic feeling, and I'm so glad that I'm able to do that for myself and my family. If you did like this video, please remember to leave it a thumbs up and comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more gardening content. If you would like to watch the May and April garden tours, I will have them linked up here. Just go ahead and click on that playlist. And until next time, happy gardening.